As we begin the Fast 15, we have new developments for you in the fight over medical marijuana in our state.
Yeah, the word is, and it's confirmed now, that Attorney General Tom Horne, on behalf of Governor Jan Brewer, will sue the U.S. Justice Department today, asking a federal judge to rule on the legality of the law passed back in November. It's confirmed because he's here right now.
And who better to talk about this than the Attorney General himself. Tell us why you're doing this. I mean, there are other states, including California and Colorado, who've had laws in place for years. There really isn't a precedent set as far as the feds coming in and causing problems.
The federal government has done a 180-degree turn. In 2009, there was a letter called the Ogden Letter, which said that for people who are honestly complying with state law, it's going to be low priority. We're not going to act against them. This month and last month, this month in Arizona, last month in some other states, U.S. attorneys are issuing letters saying compliance with state law is no excuse. We will vigorously enforce the anti-marijuana laws of the federal government. And so all of a sudden, people are put in a terrible dilemma because for example, state employees are required by law to process these applications. The federal government could come in and say, you're facilitating the distribution of of marijuana, and we're going to arrest you. And you can't have people subject to those conflicting pressures.
Well, and we know that the laws in Colorado, here in Arizona, a lot of them set up based on this Ogden memo that you mentioned, and now with the 180, obviously things change. But there are those out there who say this is a way for lawmakers to basically take away the will of the people and get rid of medical marijuana here in Arizona before it starts.
I've always been against contradicting the will of the people. When I was in the legislature, the first time the medical marijuana initiative passed, and even though I was opposed to the initiative, I was opposed to the legislature trying to undo it. And that continues to be my position. And it's the governor's position. She was diligently bringing to fruition the law that was passed. But now we get a letter from the U.S. Attorney that totally changes things. And we're not taking a position saying the law shouldn't be applied. We're simply going to the federal court and saying we've got two sovereignties putting conflicting messages on people. You can't have that. That's impossible. We need the place to go when the state and the federal sovereignties conflict is to federal court to get it resolved.
So you're filing the lawsuit today. Tell us what happens from here as far as how it affects the law and postponing it.
Well, the dispensaries part of the law will be postponed until we hear from the judge. Other parts are going to continue. We will name the real parties in interest. That is, we will name the Justice Department and the U.S. Attorney here in Arizona on the one hand. On the other hand, we're naming the organizations that are in favor of medical marijuana. And then we'll kind of back out, and they'll file cross claims against each other, and they'll be litigating against each other. We won't take a position on the merits of the case. We're simply saying a federal judge needs to resolve this contradiction, and how he resolves it is going to be up to the dispute between the real parties in interest and the federal judge.
So you're saying that your main goal is to protect state workers then from being prosecuted?
State workers and citizens. We don't want to have citizens go ahead relying on state law and then being arrested by the federal government. We need to get this resolved. The governor was applying the law diligently, but it's a new ball game with the way the federal government has reacted, not just in Arizona, but U.S. attorneys all over the country have been doing this. So this is a Justice Department policy. This isn't the U.S. attorney in Arizona on a frolic of his own. This is a change in Justice Department policy, and we need a federal judge to get involved and tell us how do we resolve this contradiction that's being placed on people? Some
sort of guidance, and we are out of time, but real quickly, how long do you expect this to take? Years? Months?
You know, Yogi Berra said it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future. You can't predict the speed of a federal court because they have life tenure, and so nobody controls the speed they go at. We hope they'll go quickly. There are provisions in the law that can give preference to a declaratory judgment action, which is what we're bringing.
Yeah, we'll watch.
All right, Tom Horne, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you. I'm happy to come back whenever you want me.
All right.